Welcome to the Black Girls Heal podcast, where we talk about changing unavailable relationship patterns, healing unresolved trauma, and building a healthy relationship with first you and then others. Every episode, we will talk about actionable advice that you can apply today to break unhealthy patterns and grow your self-worth. I'm Sheena Tubbs. Let's begin. Hello, ladies, and welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. It is a wonderful Tuesday morning if you're listening to this real time. So I hope that it finds you well, that you're taking care of yourself, that you are staying in focus of things that you can actually control. All the things that are not in your control that you are slowly, day by day, bit by bit, minute by minute, if you need to, letting go of the things that no matter how much you worry about, it is not going to help you move forward. I want you to focus on what is real, what is true, and not drift off into fantasy. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve to have a life that's full of peace, that's full of prosperity, that's full of abundance, and abundance in all ways, not just financially, which is what people mean usually, but that you're rich in joy, that you're rich in relationship, that you're rich in just promise and faith and hope, that tomorrow and today can be the best days of your life. So, with all that said, hello, welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. So I want you to know that I just uploaded a new bonus episode for our bonus club. I have a mini membership for women who really love the podcast. And you are able to get access to bonus episodes of the podcast and also some other discounts and special incentives by being a part of it. So this podcast episode was all about trusting your gut. So that intuitive voice that tells you something is up, someone is not a good fit. There is a mini bonus episode for you waiting there. So if you're a bonus club member already, go ahead and check that out by going to blackgirlsheal.org/bonus club. And if you're not a member, you can check that out as well. So there's that. This week's episode is going to be so awesome because I get to introduce you to one of our recovery school coaching program students named Shanta. She is a beast. She's amazing. Just full of she's such a sweet spirit and so resilient and so strong. And it's an honor that I get to coach her. But she's going to tell you a little bit about her story, a little bit about her transformation. And I'm going to come on at the end and talk about some takeaways for you to take with you, whether or not you are a student of mine or not, but just so that you can go ahead and have some movement in your healing process as well. In case you don't know, the Black Girls Heal Recovery School is our core signature coaching program that I use as the basis of all work I do with all of my students to help them heal and recover from love addiction and unresolved trauma. So let's go ahead and jump into that interview and then stay for the tip at the end. Okay, so today I have one of my students with me today, Shanta. Hey, Shanta.
Hi, Sheena.
How are you today?
Doing pretty great early in the morning.
Early in the morning? Yeah. I'm a morning person. Are you?
Sometimes it depends. I was looking forward to this, so
Okay.
this morning I was.
Okay, great. Well, Shanta is a student in our Black Girls Heal Recovery School coaching program, and so she is kind enough to tell us what her experience has been like. So, before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a 48, almost 49-year-old mother of three. I'm also a grandma. I am an administrator for a national law firm. Hectic lifestyle, super busy. I enjoy having fun with my friends when I can. I like to travel, but I don't necessarily always make time for myself up until
Okay, great. Well, I'm happy that now is different. But yeah, so you kind of already got into my question that I was going to ask about what was life like before the program. So you said hectic, didn't make a lot of time for self-care.
Correct. While I spent the majority of my time every single day taking care of other people, whether it be the attorneys or my staff at my firm, or of course my kids, or my granddaughter, or just other family members, and sometimes friends that need help. I always found a way to keep myself busy, going, not making very much time to just really sit down and regroup and take care of myself. And I was not doing a good job at taking care of myself, physically or emotionally or mentally.
Yeah. Did you think that you were? Because sometimes people feel like, because I'm working, I'm producing, and I'm, thriving, then I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think in a lot of instances, I think I did have the mindset that I was just taking care of business, but I don't think I included myself in the business. I thought that I was being effective, especially at my job, and the way, we run around, like would run around like crazy. And I say we because my ex-husband is, very active. But I would run around like crazy, okay, we got to get them here and I have to get them to school by this time. And I'm really pushing it to the limit, like for every single minute. And then I come home and I'm exhausted, after kind of getting them settled away. But so, yeah, I thought I was doing everything, doing a lot, effective, but, I wasn't really taking care of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what made you decide to join the Black Girls Hill Recovery School program?
Um, a number of things, a lot of things have been coming up, definitely, in my relationship. And I started seeing, actually, with the help of, the relationship, I started seeing some of the patterns that I've continued to carry over, more and more. The way I react, and the way I would react is just shut down. And the person that I was actually seeing, highlighted that and brought it to my attention more than I've ever experienced with anyone else. And I think, because of the field that he's in, and then I started noticing it, and I started noticing the pattern where I would do it, not just in my relationships, but also, if someone offended me at work, or, just not really speaking up and being vocal, I would just shut down and be done and make a decision that, I didn't like this or that. And so once I started paying more attention to that, I'm like, oh, wow. I noticed some things that I didn't like. In particular, I noticed myself doing something that my mom has done throughout my life that I didn't like ever. So it just, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And I happened to listen to, literally, I happened to open Instagram, and you know how I was already following you, but you know how if someone goes live, it pops on.
Mm.
But if you're touching on the screen, it opens up the live
Mhm.
unintentionally.
Yeah.
So I opened up the live unintentionally, and then I listened to the rest of it, and I was like, oh wow. And then so then I would listen, I would keep listening, and I was like, and then I just, look further into what you have to offer.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you have any hesitation in joining, especially knowing that it's like a coaching program and not specifically therapy?
I don't think I had any hesitation in joining. Not that piece. I think my hesitation was, will I make time for this?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, looking at everything that I kind of had on my plate, um, this would require some dedication and me making time for something for me, and that's not typical.
Mm.
So I think that was my only hesitation. But once I read the information, listened to several podcasts. I turned on my TV on YouTube, and I watched like several. It just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And I think one weekend when my kids were with their dad, I just like binge watch, and then I would go back and watch more. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, my podcast, they automatically publish onto YouTube. So if you ever are in the binging mood, you can just go to YouTube and all the episodes are there. So, but yeah. Okay. Well, I'm happy that I had that available for you to just like go ahead and take that deep dive in. That's cool.
Yes.
So, okay. So tell me, how's the program been like for you now?
It's been really, man, it's been good. It's been great. It's been really enlightening, very really eye opening for me. Um, One of the areas that I struggled was, opening up and being vulnerable, and especially to people that I don't even know. But the ladies in the group, you know, it's like, oh wow, I relate to that. Oh, I relate to that. Wait a minute, that's my story, and I don't have time to, or I don't make time to jump in and comment, but I see some of the threads that are on Facebook, more so than the forums, and they're relatable. So it's good because I don't feel like I'm just in this isolated, kind of cave, stuck dealing with things that no one else understands. So that's been great. Everyone, of course, yourself, as well as the ladies, super compassionate and understanding and encouraging. I mean, on I would notice the chat box during the lives, and people are commenting and you know giving support for people that they don't even know, and so it just speaks to what type of program it is, and just the level of compassion. Um, you know, I was there's a saying, um, fish stinks from the head down, and they use that in leadership. And so I always find myself saying that. And so the same applies here. You know, you set the model and the tone for what the dynamic should look like, the level of respect, understanding, compassion, and I think that's what's modeled by the ladies that join the group.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm so happy to hear that this has been helpful. What's one thing, if you can think of anything off the top of your head, that's been the most impactful or very impactful at least that you've learned here in the program?
For me, it has been understanding the mother wound, and how that has impacted my life, um, and how that's impacted my children's lives, um, and looking at it from a different perspective, understanding some of the root causes, some of the issues, that may have contributed to some of her behaviors that trickled over to me, and how that impacts my dynamic with my children, and how I have the opportunity to change that. Using the tools, being compassionate towards myself, not beating myself up, using the tapping, the grounding statements. I mean, those are things that I have not utilized before because I didn't think you don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know them. I didn't utilize them. I didn't practice them.
Yeah.
So now, it's helpful, take a step back and look at things from a different perspective and move forward with the tools, even when I'm getting anxious and worked up.
Yeah. Okay. So self compassion, improve relationships with your children. Is there anything else that you could do now that you couldn't do before you started the program?
Tapping. So, I mean, just bringing my anxiety down, um, in the moment. That was not something that I don't think I knew how to do it, other than, stay frustrated for a day or however long or hours, and have this. I always would have. I mean, I still get it now. Sometimes I just know how to deal with it. But in my chest, it's like this lump where it's like I can't breathe, deeply. And I know that I'm anxious when that happens. And something happened, with work recently, and I was super frustrated and anxious, and I just had to stop. And working home from home right now because of the quarantine, went upstairs, went into my bathroom, closed the door, and I sat there, and I had to tap and remind myself. And I got to a certain point towards the end of the tapping, and I just started crying. And then I regrouped, and I was good. And it was like, okay, let me proceed. Um, I had never done that before. I didn't know how. Um, so yeah.
Yay. Awesome. I'm so happy my tools are working for
Oh,
you.
yeah. They are. They are.
All right, Shanta, that's a privilege. And I didn't even ask you, how long you've been in the programs. Especially, okay, two questions. How long have you been in the program? And how long until you actually started to see changes?
So I've been in the program. We're at 2 months now. We're at two
Mm-hmm.
months.
Yeah.
And as far as seeing changes, I would have to say it was probably about a month in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that has more to do with, me and just trying to figure out, uh, one, with guidance, of course, that I don't have to do everything perfectly,
Yeah.
because I got stuck on some of the lessons because I was trying to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it probably would have gone a lot faster had I I had a lot going on with an office move. So if I would have just taken the time and dedicated the time, I think it would have, gone a lot faster. But still, even within that first month, I saw, I saw some things differently. I was grasping different perspectives or different understanding, but I don't think I was implementing the tools as often as as I was past that first month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So mental perspectives changing early on, but you actually being able to apply it in a way that felt transformative maybe a month or so in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And even with that, I laugh because I say it to my perfectionists all the time. Like everyone comes into this program thinking they're gonna do it perfectly and they're gonna be the one that's gonna beat everybody else and they're gonna see, oh, 6 months, I don't need 6 months, I got this. And she's gonna give it all to me at the beginning. I got it. In the weekend, I'll knock it out. And I'm like, okay, girl.
Good
Like,
luck with that.
good luck with that. And it's not even that, you can't, everyone who joins my program is like super smart, super intelligent, but is that this healing journey is a process and is unlearning the fact that you have to be perfect. That's part of the wound. You have to
Yes,
get into this and fail, quote unquote, and notice, oh, okay, I'm still good enough. Like I'm still here.
yes, yes. Which
Mm-hmm.
is huge. Which is huge. I mean, my kids keep pointing upstairs. My kids know, oh, okay, get you guys settled in. I need to focus. I need to do my homework. I
Yeah.
always say, I need to do my homework. I need to do my homework. Um, so they know that. Um, and at first, for a while, I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm progressing as, as much as I should. And I would see something about, going on to the next module. And I'm like, I'm still trying to write grounding statements. Like, and I'm handwriting, I'm used to just, typing and knocking documents out quickly. And I'm like, what, but after a while, he was like, you know what? It's going to happen the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And the other side of me not getting this perfect at this very moment and meeting this deadline, which a lot of my stuff is deadline driven.
Yeah.
What's the other side of that? The other side of that is go outside and play basketball with kids, or
Mhm.
toss softball with Jada or cook some food, with the kids. So it's like, okay, well, it's a win because this is what I'm learning
Yes.
to make the time, take the time, and have a much, happier, which I thought I was pretty, I think I'm pretty happy, but, you know, I, have a much happier overall, demeanor where I'm feeling satisfied with what I'm doing. And that's really, a big part of the reason I'm doing this. So,
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, one more well, I have two more questions, but one before the last one is so at first it's hard for you to make time for yourself, and now you are. Is it was it you being a part of the program that helped with that, or was it like you found a method to carve out time in your schedule, or how did that happen?
I think, I think as far as finding a method, um, I can't say that I found a method to carve out time. I think I just made a decision, but it
Mm,
was based on what I'm learning in the program. I mean, because I don't think I've ever, there's a number of things that I haven't learned, but that it's okay, you reiterate that all the time, it's
mhm,
okay, you're not wrong. Um, and I think there's a piece of me that kind of felt like, oh, okay, if I take 20 minutes over here doing this,
mhm,
then what's not being done? Oh, wow, the floor needs to be mopped or swept, or
mhm,
whichever.
mhm,
Um, guess what? It's not swept or mopped. But I took a bath and
mm,
relaxed, and no one died.
right.
So,
Everyone can still eat. The lights are
everyone,
still on. Yeah,
exactly, exactly. I have internet, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, right.
So yeah,
The necessities. That's awesome. Well, kudos to you because I think so many people just in self care in general, they constantly wait until they have time before they actually commit to it. But you're absolutely right. It's about a decision, you know? So you could have looked at your whole life and said, okay, I got my career, I have three kids, I have a relationship, I have things I want to do for fun. Now it's not the right time. I'll keep waiting until this day that doesn't happen. But it wasn't until you actually made that decision that you learned the things that you didn't know that helped you make the changes that you have in place now. So good for you for making that decision. So that does, you're welcome. That does lead into my last question, which is what would you say to anyone who is thinking about joining the recovery school coaching program?
absolutely do it. I mean, there's so many takeaways. Um, there, I think each end result will differ from person to person, but at the end of the day, there will still be takeaways. There's going to be opportunities for growth. It is a journey, so it will continue. Um, so it's something that you can do over a period of time. And to your point earlier, not jump in and expect, okay, I've done this for a weekend and now I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, there has been a takeaway from every post, every podcast, every post that I've read, every podcast, every webinar, every lesson, every single lesson, where I see things that I had never seen before, and I would not have otherwise learned. And I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about some things,
Mhm.
but, you know, make the investment in yourself. Um, it's worth it in the end. It's something that you won't regret. And, your generations to follow will be glad that you did make the investment in yourself.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you, Shanta, for sharing.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was my interview with Shanta. I absolutely loved talking to her. I love working with her. She has such great perspective and she is growing every single day and showing up for herself, and she's just a rock star. So thank you, Shanta, in case you're listening to this podcast episode today. But for everyone else, the tip that I want to give to you is about making the decision to start. Wherever you are, whatever that means for you, whatever you've been putting off, I need you to know that today is the day. Today, not tomorrow, not the next day, not a year from now, not when things slow down. I've talked before on this podcast episode about how one of the objections that I'll get from people when it comes to specifically working with me, but I think it's the same excuse no matter what the thing is whenever it comes to moving forward in your personal life, is people just say, I don't know if now is the right time. And it's never going to be the right time. And if 2020 is not giving us a full case example of what that looks like, the people who are like, I will wait to get the support I need when things slow down, so maybe later on, and then Corona hit. And it's like, if this is ever the time that you are in need of tools, in need of support, in need of something positive to focus on, this is it. Now is the time. So, what is it for you that you are not making the decision on? What is it that you're procrastinating on putting your focus into, waiting for the day or the moment that it might be more convenient? Waiting for the day or the moment that life will slow down, waiting for the time that such and such will get better so that you'll be able to spend time focusing on yourself, right? Not knowing that for you to actually be a healthy companion or daughter or sister or friend or girlfriend to whoever that person is, you got to be pouring into yourself. So the way that you actually take care of that person is by getting yourself healthy, by getting yourself ready, right? When is the time that you are going to be ready? Is it when such and such grows up and then you'll have time to focus on you again? Well, girl, your child or whoever it is, your grandbaby, your god baby, whoever it is, they're watching you. They're watching how you overwork yourself, how you neglect yourself, how you forget yourself. And they are going to become women and men who do the same because they watched you, the person that they love, do it themselves, right? When is the time that you're going to start saving that money? Who is not saving money? Who's listening to this right now saying, there's so much stuff going on. There's a crisis. There's everything else. Well, hun, today was Corona. What is it going to be next time? Right? And if you had started saving, you would have had that cushion now to actually help you move forward. So, where are you procrastinating on making the change? Where do you feel that pain? What is it that is making you feel low? Are you, like my student was saying, are you someone who are being praised for neglecting yourself, for overworking yourself, for doing all the things, and you don't even know? It's like it's kind of like it's mixed because you don't know what you don't know, but you know something's not right. And if that's the case, I want you to make the decision. It's as simple as making the decision to start, wherever it is, however it is. So if it's that you've been procrastinating with joining the recovery school coaching program until the right time, now's the time. And you can do that by going to therecoveryschool.com and go ahead and enrolling and starting immediately. If you are ready and you're like, I just have a couple of questions, but you're actually ready, not that you're like, Sheen, I need you to convince me. I'm not in the convincing game. That's what this is for. Because you know why? You're the one who has to do the work. When people fill out applications to talk to me on the phone to have the discovery call and they're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready, I'm like, then this is not the right time. Because you're the one who has to do your healing process, not me. I provide you the system, I provide you the coaching and the guidance, and I'm going to cheer you on like no other. I'm going to remind you that you're lovable and good enough and that God made no mistake in you every single second and mile of the way, but you got to show up. So if you're like, I'm ready, I just have a quick question about this portion of the program, and then I'm ready. If the answer is what I need to hear, then feel free to schedule a call with me by going to blackgirlsheal.org/call. And it's only for women who are ready to move forward, enrolling and making the investment and going. I'm there for you. I got you because I understand that there can be a lot of anxiety about whether or not this will work, about whether or not this is the right fit. So I want to be available for you for that as well. So wherever you are, those are the options for me. And if you were spoken to about something else in your life, then go and do that thing. Go and call that broker and get your retirement account started. Go and start that life insurance policy. Go and break up with that person or go and tell that person you love them. Whatever it might be, do what you're supposed to be doing now. For yourself now. Pour into yourself today because what you do today will feed tomorrow. Okay? That is my coaching for you. I hope that it serves you well. I will see you in next week's episode. I want each one of you to take care of yourselves.